Hello, Spirit families. Mr. Beatty.
And Mr. Robinson.
How are you? We are so excited to be back together, even if it is still only virtual right now. But we really want to thank you for trusting us with your students. We cannot wait to have them back on campus. And we're going to go through all of your questions today. First, we're going to start with a presentation just to show you what we already have in place and hopefully answer some of your questions ahead of time. But if you have additional questions afterwards, you'll be able to see the chat box. You can type those in and we will go through every question that's typed into the chat box. So we'll take all the time you need. Mr. Robinson and I are here for you. We are committed to your child's success and to your family's faith in us. And so just let us know if you have any questions. We're going to go through quickly just a PowerPoint of some things we have in place, and then we'll go from there and answer your questions. Okay, it's so great to be talking to you again. So safety is our number one concern. Both of my own sons are returning to school at the high school level. Mr. Robinson's wife is teaching middle school. His daughter is attending middle school. Ms. Gatchins is bringing her children to our school. Our teachers are bringing their kids back. We have worked and worked and worked and worked to make this a place where everyone feels confident we can keep our kids and our staff safe. And so we thought through everything like this was our hospital. You know how Disney had to get together and come up with a plan to reopen safely? Well, we are going to blow that out of the water. We are going to make it even better than it was at Disney. We're going to reopen and we're going to do it safely. And so some of the things you're seeing there are in the morning when your kids arrive on campus, they will have their temperature taken real quick as they arrive. There are dots in the bus loop and the parent pickup loop. Your kids will hop out of their vehicles or off their buses. They'll have their face covering on and they will get on a dot. And they'll follow the dot around like a Candyland path to the single point of entry. And at that single point of entry, there will be a staff member there taking their temperature to make sure that it is below 100 degrees. If it's not, we're going to put them in a cool down room 6 feet from each other with their face covering, give them a couple minutes to cool down. Maybe they were just rushed, and see if their temperature falls below 100 at that point. If not, we'll call you to pick up, but if it doesn't, then they can proceed to breakfast and to class. Everything you see in the picture on the right, oh, Mr. Robinson, say something.
I just want to make sure you know that those dots that the students stand on are socially distanced. They are actually 7 feet apart, more so than the required 6 feet apart. Just want you to know that.
Perfect. So we do that so that when kids wiggle and they don't stand exactly on the dot, that's okay. And they will have their face coverings on when they exit their vehicle or when they get off their bus. So they'll be 6 feet apart and have their face mask on. We're going to have lots of staff on hand to help as well. We did have the opportunity to hold summer school here, and it worked beautifully. So we kind of have an idea of how to make that work when our kids return. Everything you see in the right-hand picture is stuff that our classroom teachers have access to every minute of every day. They can reorder at will. You'll see that they have heavy-duty paper towels. They have a big gallon-sized jug of hand sanitizer that they have poured into their own little bottles, most of them. You'll see that they have some disinfectant cleaner that does kill coronavirus, and it goes in that gray spray bottle, so that's easier for them to handle. You'll see they have that green pack of wipes is for technology to wipe down keyboards and screens, iPads and laptops. You can't really tell, but that little foamy plastic covered package is a face shield. And then there are paper face shields as well in case maybe a kid sneezes into their mask and gets it kind of gooey. We'll put that in a little baggie, a Ziploc baggie in their backpack, and we'll give them a paper mask to wear for the remainder of the day. Or we do have student cloth black masks that we can also give them. This is an example. All of our teachers had their rooms set up a little bit differently, but you can see in our teachers' classrooms, they've done different things from putting the computers apart to putting shower curtains, heavy-duty shower curtains around PVC pipe and kind of separating them, but they can still see each other. But if they happen to sneeze or cough, it won't be able to go through that shower curtain, the barrier. And then you can also see that in the classrooms where they don't have that, they do have the desk space, but they also have the student wearing a mask. So in the event that she does sneeze or cough, it will go into her mask, and then if necessary, we can change her mask for her, but it wouldn't get all over that computer. Before students touch any device, it will be sanitized, and after they're done with the device, it will also be sanitized. So it will be sanitized twice before anyone puts their hands on it. That's very important. You can see we're going to show kids, we're going to show them a video that's put out about exactly how you wash your hands, how many minutes, how you cover your thumbs and the tops of your hands. There'll be hand sanitizing stations available for students, and there's going to be floor markings where students will stand and wait to wash their hands. So think about it this way. What we've decided here is that anytime we rotate between any center, so if kids are getting up and leaving an area or getting up and coming to an area, we are going to have them sanitize their hands, and then one group at a time will rotate around to the sink to wash their hands. So in a class of 18, you might have 6 kids that listen to the whole group lesson spread out on the floor, and 6 kids who listen to a whole group lesson spread out at the desk, and then 6 more kids that are divided at the teacher tables. And then after that whole group lesson is done, now it's time for small group. Well, whoever is coming to the teacher table first, the teacher's going to spray that table and those chairs down and wipe them all down. The kids are going to go, those 6 kids are going to go over to the lines by the sink, and they're going to wash and sanitize their hands. And then they're going to come back over to the small group table. And then the group on the floor will go stand at the lines at the sink and wash their hands, and then go to the desks. And the kids at the desk will go sanitize and wash their hands and go to the floor. So anytime there's a rotation, we are wiping down all the surfaces, and we're having kids wash and sanitize their hands. So there'll be lots of opportunities for things to stay clean and germ-free. You can see in this picture that every student will have their own divider, and there are different ways that those are set up. So there's some examples in these photos of how our teachers have them set up. I'm sure that our teachers will show you at their virtual Meet the Teacher event exactly how their classrooms are set up, but these are just an array of examples. You can see how friendly our classes look. They do not look scary or clinical. If you go back one second, Ms. Gates, to the other picture, you can see, our classes look warm and friendly just like they did before, only they've got these plastic dividers up. And that's just if a kid sneezes or coughs, or you can see in the one picture on the right, there's a hook to hang their mask from. So if they are 6 feet from someone else, or during lunch, they will also have these dividers. You can hang your mask up while you're eating, or you can hang your mask up when you're 6 feet from someone else. So if only one student is at that table and the other 2 seats are empty, they could hang up their mask and take a little mask break during that time. Remember, anytime they're switching from that seat to a different place in the room, they're going to clean their table, their seat, and wash and sanitize their hands. So if other students sit there next, it's been doubly cleaned. Plus, all of our tables and desks will be labeled per student. So the only chair your student will be sitting in is their own chair, unless they're at the small group table, which again would be cleaned and sanitized in between each group. For small group instruction, you can see that it's kind of challenging. Now, here's a scenario from summer school. So you can see that the students all have their face coverings on, including the teacher, because they're not 6 feet apart. But at the regular table, they'll also bring their partitions. We didn't have the partitions during summer school, but that's an added layer now. So they can also bring their partitions with them to the small group table, because those partitions move. They're assigned to your student. They have their own partition. So they'll bring that with them. But also our kids will be spread out as far as the table allows them to, and they'll wear their masks. So our precautions are threefold. We want them to stay 6 feet apart whenever possible. So if it is possible, let's do it. We want them to wear their face covering, either a shield or a mask, or both if they prefer, or if you prefer. And then also we want them to make sure that they are cleaning their hands often and sanitizing often. So they've got their mask and their dividers to keep their coughs and sneezes contained to them. They've got their hands cleaned and sanitized every time they rotate, and we're going to maintain 6 feet whenever possible. So if one of those precautions, like the 6 feet, isn't possible, they still have their masks and their barriers that will keep them safe. They still have clean hands that will keep them safe. And so that's our goal, is to keep as many of those 3 pieces in place at all times. So if they can wear their mask, we're going to ask them to do it. But if they're 6 feet at their table, and they need a little break, they can hang their mask up and take a little break. Also in our classrooms, our teachers have set aside an area in the room that is 6 feet from everyone else, where students can go and take a mask break whenever they need one at a time. And that way that'll allow them to still listen to instruction, but maybe they just need to take it off for a minute or two as they start to adjust to wearing them for longer periods of time. This is our cafeteria. There are going to be partitions like you just saw on the tables, but they won't be carried partitions. They will be permanent. They'll sit there. They'll stay there. We have a misting spray that we spray. We let it sit for 2 minutes in between classes, and it kills all the bacteria on the partitions. You can see that we're going to have one aisle that kids walk one direction, and then each aisle, each row has their own arrows. So you're going to walk right to left. And each seat is going to be like a stadium. So each row in the cafeteria will be labeled row 1, 2, all the way through 14 or 15. And then each seat will have a letter A, B, C, all the way through, I think, M. The seats, there'll only be 3 kids at a cafeteria table. The students will be 6 feet front to back. So the way those tables are sectioned right now, it's not easy to see. But from one kid's bench seat to the next kid's bench seat is 6 feet. Across the table, you're going to have 3 kids to a row. So you're going to have those kids spread out with a partition. They need to wear their mask in the cafeteria when they're in line and when they're walking to their seat. But once they sat down and start eating, they can hang their mask on the mask hook. And then when they're done eating, they're going to put their mask back on until their teacher picks them up. They will exit the closest door to them after lunch and meet their teacher to walk back to the classroom. All of that will be done by staying in rows. So if a kid does get sick, we're going to be able to easily identify who sat to the right and the left of them each day of the week, because they're going to be assigned a letter in a row. And that will help us just if a kid gets sick at home, or you went to Disney, or you had a family event and your kid comes down with it, your classmates aren't necessarily going to get that, because again, we've protected them with 3 layers, 6 feet apart, and with their masks at all times, if possible, except when they're eating, of course, and then also keeping their hands and feet clean, or hands and feet, keeping their hands clean and sanitized as well. So that is a challenge, and we're going to keep that as much as possible, so that if a kid does come in and they are not yet showing symptoms, but they've been exposed, it is not going to transfer to the rest of the kids in their class or the teacher with those safety protocols in place. Arrival and dismissal. When your students get off the bus or out of your vehicle, it's very hard to see in this picture, but you're going to see an orange dot. Those dots are 7 feet apart. So you're going to have them hop out onto the closest dot that's available, and they're going to just follow that path around to the single point of entry. And they're going to be wearing their mask or face shields, and they're going to just follow that around until they get to the single point of entry. Then they're going to go in the cafeteria for breakfast if they want their breakfast. Remember, breakfast is free to everyone. They're going to sit at their cafeteria and eat the breakfast, and then immediately when they're done, they'll leave and go to their classroom. Our staff is so incredible that they wanted your students to come in their room first thing in the morning. So technically, teachers don't have to open their doors until 7:50. It's considered planning time. Our teachers want your students in their room. That way they can keep them safe. So instead of holding them in the cafeteria or on the court or having them sit outside where we can't be sure that they can stay distant from each other, our teachers are going to let your students in the room as soon as they arrive. So there'll be no holding areas in the morning. So we are very excited and very thankful to our teachers. They are definitely committed to your kids' safety. At dismissal, we're going to start a new dismissal procedure where we're going to dismiss from the classrooms. It's very, very, very important, if you have not already, call the office and make an appointment to pick up your car tags. For students that are in our self-contained multi or our K-2 self-contained ESE classroom, that's Ms. Hackett, Mr. Sweeney, Ms. Walters, Ms. Telemack, and our new teacher, which is currently Ms. Anna. You're going to have a yellow car rider pickup. That allows you to park in the bus loop parking, walk up with your mask or face shield. You must have a mask or face shield. Walk up to the yellow tag waiting area, and your child will be hand delivered in the morning and the afternoon. Our ESE self-contained teachers and pre-K teachers, pre-K, you will also get a yellow pass to park in the bus loop. You're going to walk your student to the door of the classroom. The teacher will check their temperature. You will not be allowed into the classroom. You're going to check their temperature, and then the teachers will take them in the room from there. For everyone else, you're going to get this blue car rider pickup tag. And you're going to pull through the regular pickup line. But we are so excited about this year. We're starting a new program called Drive Line. So Coach Wilbert, who is usually the one who is the first one that you would see in our drive line, who kind of looks at your number, you're going to see him all the way out by the gate now. So when you get here during the afternoon pickup, he's going to walk down and he's going to plug in your numbers on his phone all the way back out to the gate. And that is going to let your teachers see on their phones and in their classrooms whose cars are already in the loop. And then your teachers will send those kids out. So the only kids outside waiting on the blue line are going to be kids whose cars are already in the loop. Every time you pass by coach and he enters a number, that kid's going to be called from the classroom at that time by the classroom teacher who's supervising and sent out to the loop. So that's going to make sure that we can keep kids in their grade level cohorts in the afternoon. And when they're waiting for you on the loop, they're not going to be standing next to a bunch of people, only the people that are in the loop. So we're very excited about that new program. I think you'll find it very quick to pick up your students. Of course, the first couple of weeks when everyone's getting the kinks worked out, I need you to plan for some longer dismissal times. But I promise, if you come after the bell rings, so I'm talking about 2:30, the bell rings at 2:30. You now, mind you, the bell rings at 2:30, but we still have to walk every class now. So teachers are going to stay in their own classes. They used to team up. Now they're going to walk their own classes. So they're going to walk their class out by the walker zone. If you live in the walk zone, you need to complete a walk paper that gives us permission to release your child at the end of the day. Only if you live in the 2-mile walk zone. And those kids will be released, and then each teacher will walk their kids to the buses and put the kids on each bus. Then they'll walk by the bike rack and release students with bikers or skateboards or scooters. Again, you must live in the walk zone for that. And then they're going to walk by the loop and they're going to look at their phone and see who Coach Wilbert has typed in is already here. And they're going to leave those kids out at the loop. They're going to circle back around in our one-way walkways back to their classroom, drop off extended day kids, and go back to the classroom to wait to see their other kids' car numbers be pulled up on the screen. When that happens, they'll send the kids out to the loop. There'll be plenty of people helping, plenty of people around getting your kids out to the loop. But if you come at 2:30 and you get in line at 2:30, at the beginning of the year, it may take us 20 minutes, but we're going to have that whittled down to 5 to 7 minutes in no time. I promise you, just give us some grace. Let us get everybody used to the new routines. I promise you by the week 4 or 5 of school, we'll be down to 10 minutes at the most. I would say 7 to 10 minutes is probably even a longer time that you'll wait. Now, if you get here before the bell rings at 2:30, you're of course going to have to wait because they don't even leave their rooms till 2:30. So take your time, get here about 2:40. And at 2:40 is a perfect time. You should be able to drive right through. It should take you about 7 to 10 minutes. Of course, at the beginning, it'll be a little longer. These are our kindergarten staggered start passes. If you have a first-time kindergartner, they will have a staggered start day. If you don't know it, make sure you ask the teacher at Meet the Teacher, at the virtual Meet the Teacher on Friday. You're going to pick up this pass in the office. You need to come and pick up this pass in the office when you pick up your car tag, and this allows 2 adults only on their staggered start day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever your child's first day in our building is, you and 1 other adult can walk through the temperature single point of entry. You will have to have your temperature taken. You do have to have a mask and face shield on, mask or face shield. But you can walk your child to the kindergarten door. Again, you won't be allowed in the room, but you can walk your child and say goodbye at the door on their first staggered start day. On Thursday, when all of our kindergartners are here, they have to be let out in the car loop. There is no parking during arrival and dismissal. This is the only way that we can make sure that we can see what adults are walking up to our building. We can look for hidden dangers. We can make sure that our pre-K kids, our 3-year-olds that got off the bus, we don't have to wonder, is that their parent or is that somebody else's parent? And we can be sure that there are only students walking our hallways and on our campus. So please remain in your vehicles unless you have that yellow pass. You must carry your yellow pass with you so that staff know that you're supposed to be out of your vehicle. And we will take care of your babies. We have tons and tons of people who will help you get your baby out of the car and tons of people who will walk your child to class so they don't get lost. We have, knock on wood, not ever had a student wander around lost in the morning. We know where they're going. We assign them an adult to walk them there. You can be confident when you give them to us, they're going to make it to class. Yes, and if you are going to park for your yellow tag, it is only in the bus loop. We ask that you not visit our office during arrival and dismissal. I understand sometimes it's unavoidable. If it's absolutely unavoidable that you're visiting the office during arrival and dismissal times, that's 7:30 to 7:50 or 2:30 to 3 o'clock. If you absolutely have to come to the office during that time because you have no other time to come, you must park in the bus loop to visit the office. But it's so busy in the office during these times. We're trying to help teachers get their day started, trying to get substitute teachers signed in, trying to make sure students who have questions about how they go home get taken care of in the afternoon. If you can avoid coming from 7:30 to 8 or 2:30 to 3, that would really help us out. But if you must come during that time, we understand sometimes it's unavoidable. You have to park in the bus loop because the staff parking is in the drop-off loop. So if you take a spot there, that is a staff member that can't park. We do not have enough staff parking. So they have to park back in that dirt lot. So if you take a spot, it makes it challenging for our teachers to park and get in their building for your kiddos. All right, so that is what we have. We wanted to show you all of our safety materials, all of our social distancing plans, how we're going to arrive, how we're going to exit the campus, how we're going to use our 3 steps of 6 feet, hands clean, and masks and dividers to keep kids from spreading germs that they may or may not have. We're going to keep our clean surfaces and our clean hands anytime we enter or exit a building. If they walk into or out of a door, they're going to clean and sanitize their hands. Some of our younger grades, K1 and 2, they have differentiated grade level groups for phonics instruction. They may have to visit another class during the day, but those kids will be kept together. So if I'm a teacher and Mr. Robinson's a teacher and Mr. Robinson's kids come to my room for SIPS instruction, Mr. Robinson's kids will sit in Mr. Robinson's kids groups with their masks or shields during that time. So they won't be intermingling with my students during that time. We're trying to keep kids based in cohorts. It's easy for them to stay 6 feet apart. We're not going to have 17 kids on the carpet or 17 kids at the desks. If the class has 18 kids, there'll be 6 on the floor, 6 at the desk, and 6 at the small group table. And then as they rotate, every surface will be cleaned, every chair will be cleaned, and their hands and will be cleaned and sanitized. If they have to use shared materials like in art and music, all the students' hands will be sanitized going to art and music before they walk in the art and music door. They'll be cleaned again before they use the shared material like oil pastels or mallets for the instruments. And then as soon as they're done with those, their hands will be sanitized again. When they get back to the classroom, they'll wash up. So we're using a lot of that hand washing and keeping our hands clean. They'll wear their mask the whole time. So if there's an accidental sneeze or cough, it goes in their mask. And then if masks become wet with saliva, sneezing, coughing, we'll change them out because we have plenty of masks here. We ask you that if your student is not feeling well in the morning and you're just not sure, that if they have diarrhea or vomiting, we want you to keep them home for 24 hours. So if they vomit at 7 a.m., we want you to keep them home until at least 8 a.m. the next day, or the last 24 hours from the last time they had vomiting or diarrhea. If they're running a temperature over 100.4, please keep them home until they've been without a fever for 24 hours. And that is without Tylenol or ibuprofen to reduce their fever. And we want to make sure that if your kid has, a hacking cough or something that is really going to impede their ability to participate in instruction, that you just keep them home. We have free telehealth visits. We can help you get a virtual appointment on the iPad with a doctor for free if you contact our clinic. So if you have a student who's not feeling well and you just want to get them checked out by a doctor, you can call our school. We can give you a code so you can see a virtual doctor on your phone and get the kid back as soon as possible. But we just want to make sure that we keep our kids safe. So if you do have any of those fever, vomiting, or diarrhea, please keep them home for 24 hours and just monitor them. All right. Any questions, thoughts, concerns, worries, things that we can address for you? I clicked it, but I don't see questions. Miss Gatchins, help me out right here. Let's click this button. You can say I'm not the blended and live Twitch teacher. Okay. Okay, so yes, I just hired a teacher actually. Miss Abston, you may know her. She taught kindergarten for us a couple of years ago. She is going to be the blended pre-K teacher. she is beyond over the moon excited. So you will have Miss Sally, you will have Miss Lynn, and you will have the teacher is going to be Miss Abston. Now, Miss Lynn will eventually be coming out of that room. We hired a new para for that room, but I'm not sure when her start date will be. But she's been with Volusia County Schools a long time. Her name is Miss Foley. She's going to be incredible. But until we get Miss Foley on board, Miss Lynn will be in the room. So you'll have Miss Sally and Miss Lynn. My student, my niece is also in that class. So I definitely love Miss Abston. She's going to be exciting for that class. So Miss Abston should reach out to you soon, Michelle. In the mornings, is it the same while in the cafeteria? So in the morning, they'll only go to the cafeteria if they're going to eat breakfast. Same thing, they're all going to go in through one walkway. They'll go through the line, walk down, and sit in the next available seat where there will be a partition. And then as soon as they're ready to eat, they can take their mask off. When they're done eating, they'll put it back on and exit the cafeteria. And that seat will be sprayed down and cleaned with the sanitizer. Yes, you are allowed to donate Clorox wipes and hand sanitizer to the teachers. We would love, love, love that. Thank you very much. We also are going to be using that spray because we just are confident that it kills coronavirus, but we always need Clorox wipes to wipe things down and also always need hand sanitizer. But I want you to know that we're not depending on the parents to send it. It is going to be readily available for teachers through our district. So yes, you are welcome to send them. We have our supply drop-off tomorrow. You can bring any supplies because you can't park and come on campus. We do the supply drive drop off between 8:30 and 9:30 in the morning, or 5 to 6 in the evening. So 5 to 6 in the evening or 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning, you can come with your child's belongings. Just drive through the drop off loop. You want to make sure they're labeled with your student's name at the very least. You can add the teacher if you really want to help us out, and also the grade level if you want to be really helpful. But we will make sure they get to the right space. All of our teachers are going to be here collecting that stuff. You can wave hi to them from your vehicles, but we ask you to stay in your vehicle. Yes, any students who have an IEP will still be getting that help. Support facilitation is going to do the same thing. So any students that get serviced by support facilitation, they will be going to those support facilitation groups. They will clean those desks and tables and dividers before the kids sit down. Then after the kids sit down with their masks and dividers, after they're done, they'll get up, spray those seats and chairs again, and sanitize those kids' hands before they leave. And also the same will be true for intervention. So if your kid has a deficit that they're working on closing, your students will see the intervention teachers in the same way. They'll go ahead and head to intervention, sanitize their room before they sanitize their hands before they go in. The teachers will wipe down the tables and chairs before they go in. They'll participate in their lesson, then sanitize their hands, wipe down the tables and chairs, and head back to class. Yes, this meeting is recorded. No worries. It will be available anytime you want to watch it. And also the Meet the Teachers will also be recorded for people who can't attend during those times. Okay, so thank you. Kindergarten parents, I did not touch on that. I appreciate that. If you're parking to walk your kindergarten student in, please do that in the bus loop. And you're probably going to have to just kind of park wherever you can find a spot. During kindergarten, during their first drop-off day, there should only be, a couple kids per class, maybe 3 times 4 classes, so maybe 12 parents. It shouldn't be terrible. But if you could park in the bus loop and just show Mr. Sweeney stands out there to make sure that only yellow tag parents pull through during arrival. So you're going to want to make sure you show them your hip hip hooray, it's my first day pass, okay? Yes, anytime you keep kids home for diarrhea, vomiting, or fever, it is considered excused if you contact the school. And there's an attendance line, so you can leave that in the middle of the night or in the morning. It's a recording. You just push the button for the attendance line and send in your recording, and we'll mark those kids excused in the morning. Okay, so 5th grade, yes, so 5th grade, they're going to do the same thing. You'll have your math class, and all the students will have up their desk dividers and their masks, and then before they leave, they will sanitize their seat and their desk and their hands, and then they will rotate to the next class who just sanitize those same desks and tables, but your kid will do it again before they sit down. That way the teacher knows that my child, before they sat down, knows that that desk and that table were sanitized and their hands are clean before they sit down. So we all know that before another child sat there, their area was cleaned and sanitized. Anytime they're going to rotate to a shared space, those desks and tables will be cleaned every single time before the kid sits down. Right, and everybody has their own books issued to them, so they're not going to have to share those materials. So if your kid goes to math class, they're going to have their own math book that is not shared. So that way, if a kid does sneeze or something, it's their book, and they don't have to worry about maybe picking up a virus from a shared book. So they did ask for some reusable water bottles. The water fountains themselves are not available to drink out of with your mouth. I don't know if you've ever witnessed children drinking out of a water fountain, but sometimes they get a little too close to the spigot. So instead, those water fountains are going to be Dixie cups only. It's a lot easier if you send them with a water bottle. They can just hold up to the water fountain and get the water into their bottle. But we will have Dixie cups available for students that don't bring a water bottle. And they can take those back and forth every day, yes. Okay, so I'm sorry. So during pickup, if you could arrive to the loop, like pull up to our gates at about 2:40, that gives our classes a chance to get their bus kids dropped off, their walkers dropped off, their bikers dropped off, and then have your kid out to the loop. The parents who get there before dismissal at 2:30, it kind of creates a little gridlock, which is fine if you don't mind waiting. Like some people are just like, I just want to be first and I don't mind waiting. No problem. You can still come and sit and wait. I just want you to know that your wait time, of course, is going to be a little longer because even though the bell rings at 2:30, the kids may not make it to the loop until 2:35 or 2:40. So 2:40 is your best time to just kind of pull into the loop to wait the least amount of time. If they lose their mask, yes. So if they lose their mask, which it's very hard to do because you have to keep them on so many times during the day. But if they lose their mask or they sneeze in their mask, if that happens, we will provide them new ones. We have tons of washable black masks for our students. We also have face shields for our students. Particularly for our kids in the younger grades that are learning phonics and you have to kind of see their mouth moving. We have some face shields for them. They will be one per child, so there's no sharing of those things. But if your child sneezes into their mask or gets it dirty or just loses it, we have more to replace those with. No worries. No kid's going to go without a mask here. Yes, the lunches will be hot lunches some days and prepackaged some days, just like they were last year, but they will be serving them to them. So before they were like out on the line and the kids could grab them, that's no longer the case. They'll be served to the students. So the kids will go through the line. All the kids will go through the line. So if your kid's a lunchbox kid, they're going to go through that walkway. They won't stop and wait to be served, but they're going to go through that walkway and they're going to come out that center aisle. That just creates a one-way traffic direction for us. So if they need to buy water or buy milk, they can jump in line. But if not, they'll just keep going to their table seat. But they will go through the lunch line, and those lunches can be hot or prepackaged some days, just like they were last year. Okay, so what we're doing is, yes, if your student has asthma, they can just signal to the teacher. All the teachers will have their own signal to say, you know what, I need a break. But we also have the face shields. So they can ask for a face shield instead of the mask if they're really struggling with that. They can use their face shield. And again, we will have frequent mask break areas that they can take those off. If they're the only ones at their tables, like you saw all those desks and tables, but more than 6 to 8 kids won't be at their desks at a time. So your kid may have no one to the right or left of them and be able to take that mask off for a little bit and just kind of breathe. If your son's teacher has not reached out to you, you should be hearing from them in the next couple days. I'm not sure why that would be the case yet. The first grade, we just had to divide because we had some more first graders. So my guess is maybe that student is on a new list, but I'm not sure. If you don't mind typing your son's name in the chat, I can look it up for you and get back to you through email or phone because I can look up your email and phone number. But if not, you could.
I don't have to publish your son's name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if you want to type it, Miss Gatchins is like moderating the chat, and she just won't publish it for everyone to see. But if you could let us know who your son's teacher is, who your son is, we will make sure we get you that information and find out what happened there. Okay, Mr. Robinson's not allowed to high five the children.
I'm so sorry. I look forward to it too.
But don't worry, because we are still super excited because we are going to come up with a spirit special hi-ya symbol that we can do instead. So it's kind of going to be like a little like chant or clap that they can do with themselves, and we'll do it at the same time. And so it kind of creates that shared experience without high five, because we do love the high fives, but it's just too risky with the hands. So we're going to go ahead and do some other form of spirit only chant, cheer, or acronym that we can say to each other that will keep that spirit alive. And we'll still be out there opening doors and welcoming your babies in the morning, because that's one of our favorite parts of the day.
Work in progress. We're gonna figure out.
Can we pick up the car tag tomorrow? Yes, that's a great idea. When you drop off supplies, what we can have you do is we'll put a table for car tags out in the bus loop. If you have not picked up your car tags, you can come through the supply line, but we don't want to hold up the supply drop off line. So you can pull over to the bus loop after you drop off your supplies, and we'll have a table there. You can pull up to the table. It might be a little slow going, but it doesn't take a long time. And we'll have people there to give you your car tags for you. Yes, as long as you pre-register, Ms. Gations, remind me. So there is a link. It is on our dojo, our Facebook, our Twitter, our website. It's everywhere. Go and fill in your information, because then it's just a matter of handing you the car tags. So please fill in your information ahead of time, and we will have those ready for you. It will be so quick. But if you've not pre-registered, it will not be quick. So please make sure you do that for us. But great idea. Are there any clubs? Yes, we are still doing awards. We're so excited about this. We're going to live stream the awards. So you won't be invited to attend with us, but you will be able to attend live at home, and you'll be able to see and hear everything from the awards. And you can just show your child at home. You can either watch the recording or you can watch it live and then share the recording with your kid when you get home. But yes, we're definitely going to continue to do awards. We want to recognize students who are closing their deficits, setting goals, working hard. We're definitely going to have awards. And for clubs, we are going to play that by ear a little bit. We're waiting on some district direction. Our goal is to have those clubs. We will still have the SSYRA challenge. We'll still have news team and patrols. We're still doing reading counts. Yes, you can do those at home through your V portal or at school. There are ebooks on the kids V portal as well if you don't want them to check out library books. When the kids go to the library, which will be open, they can put their books in what we call the sleeping box. And when they return them, they'll go into the sleeping box, and then they'll stay there until the time period in which they have to rest, and then they'll be reshelved. So when your kids get their library books, they're going to walk into the media center. They'll have their hands sanitized. They're going to go pick out their book. They're going to take their book back to the classroom, put their book wherever it goes, and sanitize their hands again. When they return a book, they will again put those in the sleeping box. They'll rest for a while and then be reshelved. Lunch. There was a question about lunch. Hold on, there's a question about lunch. I can't see it yet though. Our lunch is going to be hot lunches or pre-packed. We talked about this. Yeah, we talked about that. Lunches are going to be the same as they were last year, only they won't be.
Can you bring a packed lunch?
Yes, yeah, you can definitely bring your packed lunch. Absolutely. Again, your kid's going to go through the single point of entry and just bypass the line and keep walking. Kids will be assigned, like your kid will be row 4, seat N, and that's their same seat every day. So there's not going to be a ton of people sitting in that seat, maybe 4 or 5 per day, depending on the grade levels that overlap tables. I would say there's probably only a couple grade levels that share tables. So you might have 1 or 2 other kids sitting in that seat. But again, it will be cleaned and sanitized between every single lunch period and after breakfast in the morning. So that is all we have for you. We are excited. There's more questions. No problem. You can keep them coming. We're here for you. We want you to know that I understand how hard it is to make a decision between brick and mortar and live, but I'm telling you, if your kid is sick and comes to school with the virus unknowingly, the chances of them spreading it are going to be kept to a minimum, because we are really going to keep your kids safe using those 3 steps: 6 feet, hands clean, masks, and dividers. And it's not going to be like any kind of institution where we're fussing at kids about, it's going to be very Disney friendly, like, oh, make sure you pull up your mask over your nose, or let me help you tie that a little tighter so it'll stay tight on your face. And, oh, remember, honey, you have to have your mask on your face or a shield. Remember to stay 6 feet back while you're walking. Shields up. It's going to be very positive and reminders. Kids are not going to get in trouble if they forget. It's going to be just friendly reminders. And it's going to be very much just as always. We care about your kids. We care about all of our staff, and we're going to do our best to make sure that we don't have to discontinue in-person learning because we love to be in person with your kids every day. Our teachers are so excited. They have worked all summer on their rooms. They are very excited about, introducing themselves to you through virtual Meet the Teacher. And we're going to continue to try to turn some of our parent events that we used to have, like book night and book fairs, into virtual events so that we can do them with you online at night. So we're going to look at some ways we can really engage our families virtually too, because we do miss you as well. Skachen says I have 2 more questions. Let's see. Yes, we're still going to do no collar for $1. We're really excited about that. It's like our favorite day because we get to see all the kids' little personalities in their shirts and shorts. But yes, we're still going to do Wednesdays our no collar for $1 day, and Friday is any Spirit shirt. So if it has Spirit on it and it's a t-shirt, they can wear those on Friday. We will be selling some Spirit shirts this year as well as some collared shirts. So that's coming. We just haven't had time to kind of work through how to get those to you yet. But we are definitely doing no collar for $1 on Wednesdays. And yes, kids will be required to wear their mask during PE, but it's not like you think. So if the kids are 6 feet apart and they're doing exercises that do not involve running, touching, those kinds of things, they're going to have the chance to have their masks off. But if they're doing things where they have to be closer than 6 feet, they're going to have their mask on. But again, there'll be several on the court. There's an opportunity to put several mask break areas, and kids can go over and take a break if they get overheated. They're going to have Dixie cups out by the water fountains. They have 2 portables this year, so if it's hot outside and they feel like it's just not worth it, they'll take them inside the portables and do some activities with them. We're not using PE equipment at this time. It's just too hard to figure out how to sanitize that right now. And also playground equipment, it can't be sanitized thoroughly between classes, so that's off limits right now. But we're going to play some music. We're going to do some activities with the kids that involve movement, but don't put your kids at risk of breathing in, coughs and sneezes that might come out from other students. So it's definitely not going to be something where if they need a break from that mask or they're, out there in 100-degree weather, we're going to take them inside instead. So we're going to kind of play it by ear and see how that goes. But if we're not going to have them running out there, running the mile in a mask for sure. Yes, if you know anyone who owns their own business and is willing to support our school, one of the areas that our school is lacking in is the ability to support our teachers. And you've just heard how our teachers are going to keep your kids in the room the minute they get to school. They're keeping them in their rooms after school instead of dropping them off in the loop. All of those things are not required by their contracts, and they volunteer to do those things. So what Mr. Robinson and I would like to do is just do some staff recognition and appreciation. We have a lot of events in which we raise money that we can spend on student recognition, student medals and certificates and awards. We're still going to do our Spirit Believes in You awards on the news. And we're looking at some more ways that we can recognize students this year for doing their personal best at things, but we don't have any funds we can use to recognize teachers. So we do want to plan some events like, to recognize teachers, just donuts and coffee in the workroom, or, a cold soda on a hot day kind of thing, just to recognize the fact that they are going above and beyond to make sure that everybody is, prepared and safe. So if you know of anybody who would like to sponsor that or donate any amount of money to that fund that we can use for our teacher recognition, we would really appreciate that. And we're going to make it our goal this year to try to get some partners out there to fund our teachers, because we do think that they're just doing more than every other teacher at every school to make sure that our kids are safe and well taken care of here. So that's what we got. We are also looking for people who own pressure cleaner businesses and things to partner with us to keep our school clean on the outside. And if you have any other ideas of ways that you can enhance our school, we would love to partner with your business. I know we're doing LELOs for our back to school, trying to support one of our parents' businesses for our back to school meeting. So volunteering right now is closed. There's no outside personnel allowed in the building just because of the reduction in the amount of outside germs and bacteria that would come in. But we are anxious to have volunteers back. It takes that to run our school, and we really love it. So if you could just keep checking back with us. As soon as we're allowed to have volunteers, we would love to welcome you back to our campus. But I do know a lot of your teachers could use help with laminating and cutting and sorting and doing different things in their classroom that you can take home, and they can send them home with your kids. So if you're really interested in supporting your teachers, you can ask that way too. If there's anything that you could do at home that you could send back and forth with your kid, they might be excited about that. Yes. So if your child is out because they have been tested for COVID and they need to be quarantined, they will. Excuse me. Luckily, I had my mask on. They will be able to join Volusia Live if they're out for an extended period of time. So if they're quarantined for COVID exposure, or if they have like a surgery that's planned. But if your child is sick and just needs to stay home, we don't want them joining on Volusia Live. We want them just to stay home and rest and get better, and they can make up that work when they get back. It'll be okay. All right. Well, that is what I have. You're welcome to stay on for a couple minutes, and we'll monitor the chat if you'd like to ask questions. We are here for you, whatever you need. Please let us know if you know anyone who prefers to hear this information in Spanish. We are having a Spanish meeting tomorrow night from 4 to 5. I will unfortunately not be the one communicating. Miss Morales will be, but I will be saying it to her and she can say it in Spanish. And then we are ready for your virtual Meet the Teacher on Friday. We're going to post a list of links for you. We're going to send them through Class Messenger, your kids' teachers' link. So you would get a link for each of your teachers' Meet the Teacher presentations. Mr. Robinson and I are going to kick that off at 7:30 in the morning with a message, but it will be recorded. And they're every 20 minutes. So Mr. Robinson and I kick that off at 7:30. Kindergarten is 8 to 8:20. First grade is 8:20 to 8:40. Second grade is 8:40 to 9 o'clock. Third grade is 9 to 9:20. Fourth grade is 9:20 to 9:40. And fifth grade is 9:40 to 10 o'clock. And then all of our ESE self-contained courses and pre-K are 10 o'clock to 10:20. And that gives you a chance to attend all of your kids' events. There will also be time for you to ask questions to the teachers. But if you have to run right from one class event to another, you can email, or they're going to give you their contact information to reach out and ask questions. That's it. That's all we have for you. We're so excited to have you back. If at any point you're worried or nervous, your best point of contact is your classroom teacher, because they'll be able to give you the most specific information about what it's going to look like for your child, or what exactly you're worried about. But you're always welcome to call Mr. Robinson and I. Our emails are also available on the district website. If you email us, we will email you right back, no matter the time of day, even well into the evening. Sometimes I'll answer email. And then always you can call, leave a message with this judge. If you email Mr. Robinson, he probably won't get back to you till 7:30 in the morning.
I'm just saying.
I tend to answer mine all day.
I am such an honest man. So really, if I see it and I can get to you, I definitely will. He is a lot better at answering right away than I am, but I do get back to you. So please feel free to email me anytime as well.
He doesn't even know how to lie.
No, I know.
So just reach out. Our office staff, Ms. Tevis and Ms. Mendez, are available to help you every day from 7:15 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. You can email us like I said, any time of day or night. Ms. Judge is available to take personal messages from me and Mr. Robinson that you really just want to talk to us. And then, of course, any other questions you have, anything can be directed to your teacher. You'll probably get the quickest and most precise answer. But we will find you an answer if we do not know it. Bus routes are going to be available. And we sent out the link to bus routes. I think they're in parent portal. There is no link. See, Ms.
No, I think there is a link.
There is a link.
I will tell you that.
It's in your parent portal for sure. So if you have not signed up for parent portal, that's how you're going to get grades and information the quickest. So call the front desk and we'll get that letter to you for parent portal to sign up. But your bus routes are in parent portal at this time. Also, free and reduced lunch. Please, please, please help us fill out the free and reduced lunch application. It really provides, there are 7 teachers here paid out of Title I money that we would not have without Title I services. So we're really worried about that this year, having half of our kids on campus and half at home. If you have, the ability to fill out the free and reduced lunch application, please do that. We tweeted out the link. We put it on Dojo and Facebook. And even if your kid never eats in the cafeteria, that distinction provides federal dollars per student. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. So I think that's all we have. All right. Well, if you need anything, let us know. We love you. We miss you. And we cannot wait to see you on Monday in the Parent Loop.